Are you downsizing? Maybe need more room because of additions to the family, or possibly seeking that dream home you've always wanted? Well, Tim Eisner at Royal LePage Atlantic is the guy for you. With a proven track record and multiple awards, Tim goes above and beyond to find out your needs and exactly what you're looking for. So if you're seeking a new home or trying to sell your current one, contact Tim at 902-499-5717 or check him out on Facebook at Tim Eisner. Again, that's 902-499-5717. Trust me, when all is said and done, we'll be saying Tim Eisner strikes again. Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are back. Hope everyone has been well over the last few weeks. Welcome to episode 64 of Outside the Chute. I'm your host, Randy Frame. This week's OTC Player of the Week comes to us from Missouri as Olivia Moyer of the Blair Oaks Falcons takes home the weekly honors. Liv had an impressive 38 strikeouts over 19 innings of work while not giving up a single run this past week. Those are fantastic numbers. I could probably take some pointers from you, Liv, going into my league playoffs this next week there. But anyways, great job, Olivia. Best of luck going forward. On to this week's guest, and we sat down and chatted with former U.S. men's national team head coach and current New York Gremlins head coach, Gregg Leather. Gregg has had a fantastic coaching career to date, as he has won 6 ASA National Titles, 2 ISC World Titles, and a Pan Am Silver, just to name a few. We're going to talk to Gregg about getting his start in the game, his transition from modified to Fastpitch, the formation of the New York Gremlins, of course his time with the U.S. national team, and much, much more. Gregg was such a treat to chat with, and it was a pleasure for Hopey and myself to be able to talk to one of the premier head coaches in the game today. So as usual, grab that drink, sit back, relax, cause here we go.
I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. I can't describe what I'm feeling, ain't never felt this freedom. I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. Ain't never felt this freedom. Could you say that anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes.
Welcome back.
We're back.
Hey, Dick.
Hey, Hopey.
How are you, buddy?
Just trying to wheel down after that weekend at Eastern Canadians.
Yeah.
I mean, that was fun to get back away and
Tons of fun.
with the boys and see some great ball. And man, it was mentally exhausting. I mean,
It was, especially the coaching. As you noticed, playing wise. I mean, you didn't play a lot, but I said to you last night, I was sore from walking from the dugout to the third base box to coach. So I can't even imagine the guys.
Oh, the guys. I mean, our group chat was pretty funny. We had
What did Harv say? He was out looking to purchase a casket.
Yeah. that was hilarious.
Yeah. A lot of fun though. A lot of fun being away with the boys again.
Absolutely.
And you don't realize how much you missed it until you got there.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And I mean,
except the motherfucking COVID cases are rampant in New Brunswick right now. But anyway,
that's another story. I mean,
exactly.
We don't have to divulge into that.
No, we won't talk about COVID or lolly.
Yeah.
Okay.
One other thing about being away was people coming up and talking to me and saying about loving the podcast. And I mean, that was the first time being out.
Somewhere aside from being at our ball fields.
Being our ball fields and having people like I've never met and coming up and saying, I listen to the podcast, really enjoy it. And that was icing on the cake for the weekend right there.
Even like Rene Gauguin, who's very French, he came up, he said, I love the podcast. I was like, oh man, that's great. I'm glad you listened to it. We'll have to get somebody French to host sometime. Yeah, for sure. And also speaking of Easterns, congrats to Scotty Black and Alexander Street White Sox. Yeah, they had a hell of a weekend.
Beat us in the finals.
Yep.
But Scotty's been searching for that Eastern Canadian Championship for a long time.
Congrats to him. He does a lot for the sport in Cape Breton especially, and congrats to him for sure.
Yeah.
Nothing but kudos for the team.
Absolutely.
They did well.
Yeah, and then
And thanks for the hosting committee too. Matt Whipple, I guess, was the lead on that guy on that tournament, and they did a great job with a condensed schedule because of the rain Friday night. Yeah. So it made for a long day Saturday, and of course Sunday. Getting home, well, I got home Sunday 12:30ish. Yeah. So it was a little tough yesterday, but
and then we were right back at the ball field last night.
Exactly.
But it's funny, warming up and everything. I was like, man, I don't feel good. Like I was just so exhausted from the weekend. And then it was one of those games where I just...
Yeah, you were just throwing spinners.
I don't know what the...
One hitter.
It's like I turned back the clock now.
You got a hit in the sixth, I think.
Yeah, 2 outs in the sixth.
And you got pissed off at me because I called you on a check swing, which you totally went on.
And then you threw me off, man. After that...
That's my fault. Fuck you.
I was like, I'm going to strike out. Anyway, back. We got a couple weeks left in our regular season and starting playoffs, which...
We'll be into October, but it's fine. We had to extend this week because of all the rainouts and stuff, but it'll be good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to today's guest for the second time.
Second time?
Let's make sure your SD card's working this time.
I know. We got to apologize to Greg when we get him on here. Sure. It's an unfortunate incident that happened, but
good enough to come back on.
Yeah, exactly.
Great guy.
I mean, we went through, he would have been our 61st guest at that time. And, I mean, to go through 61 episodes and not have a mess up. I mean, hey.
That's right. That's not too bad.
Yeah,
and it was nice having this little bit of a break as well. I know for yourself mentally.
Man.
Because it's busy for you.
It is. Yeah. It's a lot of work, I'll admit. But I mean, having those 3 weeks off is recharge the batteries. Let's get going again.
That's right. Although you look exhausted. But.
Oh, I am. Let's get through this. So get my daughter in the shower and then heading right to bed.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to Greg.
Okay. Sounds good.
I live for the moment. Yo.
All right, here we go. Greg, thanks for coming back on the podcast.
No problem, guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, we mentioned it on here. We had a little mishap there before, and again, apologize for that stupid SD card.
Yeah, I'm not a tech guy, so
neither is Randy.
So I can't blame you. I screw things up all the time. I go to my daughter all the time to fix things for me.
So how's things going down in New York today?
Pretty good. I just got back. I was down in Florida for the weekend, so just came back. So pretty good. Right nice on. Weather.
Family vacation or just?
No, my daughter lives in Florida. It was the weekend. This is the 20th anniversary of September 11th, and I don't know why this year I wanted to get away.
Right.
I didn't want to be here and hear it all and see it all. I've been doing it and hearing it for so long. Just have the place in Florida. I figured I'd go with my daughter. She happened to be off for the weekend, so we just went to our happy place and ran around the parks in Disney.
Oh, right on. Right on. Fun.
Yeah.
So you had a little bit of a run at the ISCs there.
Yeah. Yep. We played, I think, the final, that was the first game from the time that Pettit had gotten here. I think we lost 3 games all year, but that was actually the first game when we had Pettit and Cheese that we lost the game. So in the final, that was a tough one, but it's
funny there that when we were recorded the other one there, I said, it's funny you guys been to the finals and you haven't faced Kitchener or Hill. And then lo and behold, and I think you mentioned.
Yeah, we did. We said to you, who do you think is the toughest team's going to be there? And you did mention Hill United. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's something when we play each other.
Yes.
Especially now that we both, between the ASAs and the ISCs, we both won a lot, and it's just something in those games where no matter how much one team gets down on the other, there's no relaxing. We know that the other team's going to come back, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's just something about guys who've been there and won, and just they don't give up.
Yeah.
And you see them. You see there's a bunch of guys on both teams who have a lot of experience in winning, and it's just something about when you win that it's not going to be easy. And they say you gotta that's in boxing. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ, and it's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. I will tell you that watching that final game, I mean, you guys played fantastic, but some of those plays at the end of the game was probably one of my favorite finals for me to watch, as far as being on, like, I seen on YouTube or whatever. But it was amazing.
Yeah, it was. Brad Ezekiel was just,
Jesus.
I mean, everybody knows him for his hitting, and I think his defense might get it overshadowed a little bit just because he's such a great hitter. Right. But the plays he made, in the winners bracket final and the final game were just amazing. Yeah. And I think I said it on the 222s that no offense to Bruno, but I just don't know how you don't give Brad the MVP of that. I mean,
yeah,
I
agree.
He saved 5 runs in the final.
yeah,
going
exactly.
over and Robin 2 home runs.
Yeah.
A 2-run and a 3-run. So
yeah,
and he's a pretty good hitter too. So
yeah, not too shabby.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that, unbelievable. What was the watching it online and stuff? What was the facility like? It looked like it was like in a big open field, like.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was kind of, they stepped up late and they had to fix some of the fields to get them ready, and it wasn't, it was pretty good, but it wasn't. It's not going to compare to Kitchener or Kimberly or places like that. I think the one complaint some of the managers had was the waiting around, and I'm on the ISC, so I get it from both sides.
Sure.
There's things you have to worry about, but, from the manager's point of view, they didn't like the waiting around. And also there was the other field that had the permanent fence and it actually had better lights. The problem they were having, it was right next to a cornfield. So they were losing about 30 to 40 softballs a game to play on that field. So, but it's just, like I said, I see it from both sides and I get it. I understand. They want to keep the premier games on the main field and stuff. So just things run late, but I know there's a lot of the managers are pretty upset about that. So,
yeah. Now, I need to know about the story coming home from ISCs, because when I text you to try to line this back up, you had mentioned, you and Varm were going to Mets game and you had long travel. And then I heard it on Tuesday Talk. I need to hear the story again. Yeah.
You know what? And we got a big storm in New York after that. It really brings it home how dangerous it could be. And you know what? That happened after the New York storm. And I think like 30 people died in the tri-state area down here just from an unexpected storm, just from floodwaters. And, we were driving home before that happened and we were in the middle of the Pocono Mountains. So there's a lot of water forming at the bottom of the mountains. Interstate 80 was closed and the navigation was taking us off to these side roads. And we're seeing trees down and we're making U-turns and there's nobody to be seen anywhere. And at one point we just looked at each other and I actually had to get out of the car to use the bathroom. And I didn't want to panic Varm, but where I went, there was a huge river overflowing coming up towards my feet.
That's quite a pee.
I jumped back in the car. No, this was like a river overflowing. And Varm is going to put the seat back thinking that we're going to relax there and just chill. And I'm like, we got to get out of here. And he's like, why? I go, open your window. And as soon as he heard it, we were out of there.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we found we got to a little bit of high ground in a Walmart parking lot and ended up sleeping for about 4 or 5 hours in a Walmart and probably would have stayed longer, except that, he had to be at work the next day. So.
Man,
crap.
That's crazy. That's just crazy. Well, at least you made her home safe and sound. That's the main thing. Right?
Yeah, we eventually did.
Yeah. All right. We're going to do quick pitches again. Sure. I may have altered a couple of these.
We had to.
So let's get going again. Okay. All right. Best thing about living in New York.
I'm going to go with the same answer I gave you the first time. It's pretty much, it never sleeps. I notice when we go to a lot of these small towns and after a game, guys are looking for a place to eat or a beer. And sometimes you finish these late games, there's nothing. And that's really never a problem here. You take it for granted growing up here that, anytime you pretty much go get a beer, anytime you go to a diner, it just never closes. And it's, when you go other places, then you really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Best sporting event you've ever seen live?
Oh, wait a second. Actually, I do remember something, Greg. When I was about 23 years old, I'm pretty sure I saw a bald guy with a softball jacket behind the first baseline with Joe Carter.
Wait a minute. I wasn't bald back then.
Oh, shit. Then it wasn't you.
Hair back then.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was at the Joe Carter game, the Joe Carter home run game. Friend got us some tickets, and me and my partner at the time in the police department, we drove up, and we had great seats, like right near the dugout. And every time a right-handed batter's up that game, you could see us sitting there with my satin green softball jacket on and my green jet hat, and it was awesome. It was pretty amazing. We didn't have a big rooting interest then, but it was just an amazing thing to be at.
Oh, for sure.
You would not believe how many people I've told that story to.
Oh my God,
since you told us there when we recorded before, because I find that just absolutely crazy.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, when we hang up, I have a still shot that we were hanging out with some of the some of the guys in Wisconsin one year, and they happened to be running it on ESPN Classics. So somebody took a picture of one,
wow.
you know, they could see the green jacket, and it's not clear because it's a picture from the TV, but
yeah,
Sure.
Actually, something I didn't mention the last time, for about 10 years after that, there was see, the weird thing is when Carter hits the home run, that angle, the first base camera angle, is very rarely shown.
Right.
But there is a camera angle from that, and there was a picture taken that there was like a cardboard cutout in the Hall of Fame for about 10 years of a display that you can see me and my partner very clearly on in the background there.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the home run itself, I'm not really in that shot. But if they show it from the first base camera, I would have been.
Right.
that's crazy. Actually, I don't know if I asked you last time. I'm trying to, how loud was it when he hit that walk off?
Oh, it was deafening. It was incredible. I mean, you know what? I actually felt guilty being there because, you know, I remember when the Mets won in '86, I was in the police academy and I went to a few games, but you hear all these celebrities like, oh yeah, we're going to the game tonight. It's like, you know, they don't even care. And that's kind of how I felt being up there. It was like, you know, somebody who's a Blue Jay fan should be here. Instead of me. It was amazing.
Yeah, no doubt. Sure. Last time I said, are the Mets going to catch the Phillies? Now I'm asking, what happened to the Mets?
Yeah, it's, you know, I don't know. I really don't know. It's just, I mean, losing DeGrom, having Carrasco out half the season, not getting Syndergaard back. I mean, Taijuan Walker he pitched great. I mean, he's just running out of gas. He hasn't pitched this much in a long time. Yeah. But even with all that, they're hitting. It's just been, you know, none of their hitters have really, except Alonso. Yeah. You know, none of them have lived up to it. Although we did get a nice little glimpse of what Lindor can be.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 3 bombs.
And if us beating the Yankees 4-6 keeps the Yankees out of the playoffs and helps the Blue Jays get in, I'm all for that.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, like, the Mets are 5.5 out of a wild card right now. Yep. Yeah.
Oh no, out of the wild card, they're only three. I think three and a half maybe.
So I mean, 3 weeks ago, the Jays were 9.5 back of the Yankees.
That's right.
Now they're past them. So I mean, anything can happen.
The Blue Jays can hit.
They kind of
that hasn't been their problem.
No.
So.
Yeah, true enough. Next one. Who's the best Met to ever wear the uniform?
Oh, that one's easy for me. That's got to be Tom Seaver.
Yeah.
I remember that answer.
I grew up idolizing Seaver. I think I told you guys I ran into him, and I went to a softball meeting down in Maryland in the middle of nowhere and ran into him, and it was a pretty cool experience.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah,
that's unreal. Biggest moment so far in the game, coaching or playing?
That's a tough one. It's got. I mean, most people would think automatically the first ISC, but I got to say for me, and just because when I got together with Bruce Dansky, he's the Gremlin sponsor. I had won a couple of ASAs in modified, and he was chasing it for 30 years, and that was kind of actually why he recruited me to come run his team. And in 2005, and for Fastpitch fans, there was a ton. I mean, you had Dewey Dyke there, Ryan Brand, Miljovic. I mean, Patsy's was there with their full ISC squad playing modified. And it was, you know, we had Jared Martin, we had Reese Casely, we had Stacey McLean. We were a loaded team too. But we won that, went undefeated. And it's one of the few tournaments he's come to. And it was, you know, it was really special for everybody who's been with him for a long time. It was really special. It still sticks out in my head as one of the, you know, the most special times I've had in softball because, you know, and I think, you know, even with Hill this year when they won, you saw that they wanted a couple of guys who hadn't won before to go out and get the trophy. And that's always a special thing. When you've won a few times, but then it's somebody new who gets to win. And that's what that was for me. And our relationship that we've had since, it still sticks out as one of my best memories in softball.
That's awesome.
Right on.
Love that.
Who's the best player you've seen play the game, past or present?
It'd be tough for me to go against Cheese because he does it all. But I do remember the other guy I threw in there when we talked about this the last time was you can't go wrong with Jared Martin. No. Yeah, Jared. I was lucky enough, you know, my first couple of years. Well, Jared played a little bit of modified for us too. When he was with County, he was playing with us. And then when we came over to Fastpitch and got together with Doc, he was with us with Broken Bow Gremlins, and he's just amazing. Yeah.
Jared must have been crushing the ball in modified. I mean, he did in Fastpitch, but still.
Well, you know what? It was weird because you would think that, but some of the guys, it just, I don't know. Well, you know, the funny story, the reason I got the Gremlin sponsor is because we kept beating the Gremlins with my modified team. We had a knuckleballer.
Right.
He threw hard. He threw about 75, but he threw hard knuckleballs, and it gave them fits. So it didn't always translate, you know.
Yeah.
Jared was a great slingshot pitcher. Guys like Billy Hillhouse did well with it. Dewey Dyke, Robbie Scheller, you know, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Robbie's passed away recently. Robbie Scheller was probably the greatest guy to come over and throw a slingshot. But then you had guys like Dewey brought Peter Meredith one time in his prime to try to do it, and it did not work. Yeah, and it didn't work, and he probably swore he would never do it again after the one weekend he tried it. So it's it's different. Yep. And when I say modified, it's more slingshot. It's like what Harvey Sterkel threw. When guys see the old videos, it's slingshot fast pitch. It's not what you guys call orthodox or what we call down here 10-man modified. It was pretty much slingshot fast pitch.
Right. Single game winner take all. Who's your starting pitcher?
Cheese, yeah. It's gotta be Cheese.
Absolutely. Guy's a weapon.
Yes, he is. You know, and you know, it was unfair to him this year to get him here so late, and he wasn't at his best, and he's geared up and fired up to come back even better next year. And we didn't really get a chance to let him, you know, we gave him a couple of his pitching was fine. I think in his velocity and his movement, he just didn't have his pinpoint location this year.
Yeah.
And also his hitting. I've never seen him struggle hitting like he did in the chances we gave him this year. And then it was just like, hey, you know, we're just going to shut this down till next year when you come back for a full season.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes, it happens.
It was a different year. It was, you know,
it was, you
know, guys missing, and it was tough. And listen, you know, there's still a lot of guys. I don't know if people realize how many guys are still stuck here.
I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask, if Zenon was still kicking around.
Zenon's here. He's still around. He played in Oakland with Varm a couple weeks ago. His flight is scheduled for October 6th. I've heard that there's a couple of the RGs are stuck in Mexico. And I heard Fetty, I'm hearing just from different people. I heard Fetty Etter is stuck somewhere. It's crazy. You know, it's just guys not being able to get home.
Just can't get home. That's crazy. Yeah.
Unreal. That's the world we're living in right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. And I think the kid Brad Kilpatrick, who actually had a really good breakout year with the Ashland team, he's fortunate in that his dad lives in Florida. Right. But his flight was canceled, and they're telling him he can't get home till after Christmas now.
Holy shit.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Jesus. Last one, which I loved. If someone is in New York looking for a top-notch suit, where are you recommending?
Yeah, stay away. I think I mentioned on the other podcast, go see Mr. Ned. But if you're a friend with Varm Matosian, just be prepared. You are going to get a cup check. That's to get the friend discount. Yeah.
I love that.
Inside seam measurement.
Yes, exactly. You know, he's not doing the Joey Tribbiani.
No, that's right. I was going to mention that.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, freak. Anyway, Greg, let's do what we do with every guest. Tell us when and where you got your start in the game.
Sure. I guess I started playing when I came out of the police academy. I really wasn't a softball guy. I was a mediocre baseball player, and I just thought I was going to go back. They had some pretty good baseball leagues here and different levels, and I was just going to go back and play in one of those. A buddy of mine in the police academy convinced me to come out and watch him play softball. And then I didn't know there was, softball with bunting and stealing. And I think I mentioned it before. Like, I grew up an hour and a half from Allentown. So I could have went out and seen Ty Stofflin in his heyday and stuff if I had only known, but never had seen it. And it wasn't around here. So a buddy of mine brought me over there, and I got hooked in it, started playing in all the sorts of police leagues and everything. And we played with his older brother who ran the team, and he and I kind of wanted to venture out and start doing our own thing with some younger guys. And that's how I got into coaching. It wasn't too hard to find 10 players better than me. So I used to kind of, I would be a fill-in guy, and I'd play in some of the leagues and stuff. But for the most part, I started coaching young because we just wanted to start traveling and doing some tournaments and stuff that his brother's team, our regular team, wasn't doing, and we wanted to do on our own. So there was a bunch of good young guys in the league and stuff that wanted to do that. So I would play in the leagues and stuff, but when we went traveling, I didn't play too much. Right on. So when you were growing up, like as a kid though, like you would have been primarily baseball, were you? Oh, only baseball. Yeah. I love baseball. What was obviously the landscape of baseball down there in the US is way different than here in Canada. So how would you, like, speaking like as a young kid, what was baseball like
for you growing up?
Well, I mean, it was there, but it's not like now. I and I wish, because I was just I loved it so much that I wish that they had the kind of training and coaching that went on now, because as me being a mediocre player, I probably would have benefited from, just because I would have put the work in and I loved it so much. But for us, and my dad wasn't really a baseball player. He just kind of took me to our little league games and we played and, made all-stars and stuff young, because I was bigger than everybody. I grew quick.
Yeah.
And then I went into high school as the biggest and I came out like the smallest. So, but, you just hit puberty early and you're better than everybody all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Passing you by in high school, you're like, whoa, what the hell happened? But, it wasn't like it is now, where there's just, the coaching that goes on now and the travel and the opportunities and, so it was there, but it's probably more like it is. It's probably how it is in Canada right now is probably how it was when I grew up, because it was there and you can play it. You had to go seek it out and find it. Right. There was some decent level. In high school, I played in high school. My first year we went and we just had, the guys, like I said, I was a mediocre player at best. I didn't feel like sitting for 3 years behind two guys that were way better than me. So I just kept playing. I just kept playing Legion ball. And, I could have stayed on the team and sat on the bench and warmed up the pitchers, but I didn't want to spend my time like that. I would rather just play in Legion ball and play against these guys and be the fourth or fifth best catcher in the league instead of the fourth or fifth best one of my high school team and sit on the bench all the time. Right. But, there wasn't, but like I said, had there been good coaching and stuff, somebody like me who enjoyed the game and liked the, the mental aspect of it, I've always been like that, then I probably, with some good coaching, I probably could have done a lot better. Some of the things they teach now, I'm like, oh man, I wish I knew that when I was young.
Yeah, for sure. So what was it that drew you to this game?
My buddy Steve, a friend of mine, and then the opportunity to travel. My buddy Steve Mattei, I met in the police academy. We were best friends, and he's my son's godfather. And he was big into softball at the time. And, it's funny because he always teases me now that, we put the team together and he says I had, he knew I would be good because then I even benched him once we got somebody who was better than him. Every time he gets a couple of beers, he goes, you benched me, Leather. And he's right. By the time, if we could find guys that were better than us, that's what, we did. And, the travel aspect of it, the going to tournaments, I really liked it. And, and then it just eventually led into, a lot of the guys from Fastpitch started coming over to Modified. Darren Ray, Robbie Scheller, like I said, Jared, Reese Casely's my good buddy. Mm-hmm. They all came over and they played both. And then it kind of, and there's some fault of it, with Patsy's and us. We were pretty big rivals and we went at it pretty good. And you had two teams in Modified that had big budgets, and that just wasn't around. In Modified, it was more, and that's how I grew up. Our teams came when we were a local team, but then once we got involved with the Gremlins and Patsy's, it became a war of attrition, and the game kind of died. So we both moved over full time to Fastpitch.
Right on. So actually, tell us the story on how the Gremlins actually originated.
Well, our sponsor Bruce Tansky's been sponsoring the team since 1970 as a player and coach, and back then it was probably more local. He did go to a bunch of nationals, and he finished as high as third. But it was probably more local, league, states, and I think you had to win your states and your regionals and everything to even get to nationals back then. So, but he's had the team in existence. He sponsored the team every year since 1970. When I got involved with them was 2005. We had played them a couple of tournaments in 2004 and beat them. And Stevie Price was actually the connection that called me and asked me to come up and meet with Bruce. And we sat down and he asked me if I'd be interested in running the team. He wanted me to run it that year, but we were kind of in the middle of the season. And I explained to him that, I had a team and I wasn't going to just leave them in the middle of the year. And he got that and we agreed, but we had 5 guys retiring the next year and we thought we could do something together, which is what we did. We put half the guys from my team and Stevie Price and Reese Casely and Jared Bond, he was bringing all these international superstars and we were bringing about, guys that ended up playing, some fast pitch. Mo Candu was one of the guys. He played with the U.S. national team. We had a guy, Reggie Barreau. He actually won I think he won he just played over 50s and a couple of years ago with the Durham Bulls, and he won the batting title and the home run title. But that was the thing. By the time we got into Fastpitch, those guys were in their mid 30s, and it was kind of it wasn't long for us. We had a couple of decent runs, right, but a lot of these guys were having kids, and the kids were getting ready to play Little League and stuff. So the commitment just couldn't be there for them, and slowly, a bunch of them faded out.
Yeah. So were some of the guys that were coming into play modified? Were they just coming into play like on off weekends that they weren't doing Fastpitch? Was it?
Well, to be honest with you, the first year that we had Jared, not Jared. Jared was with County, so Jared was only with us part time.
Okay.
But in 2005, Reese Casely and Stacy McLean, Edward Leonardo, and Jordan Tavares, they played with us primarily, and they picked up with Bob Neidick and played with the River Sharks. McLean and Casely did that year. Mm-hmm. Because they were. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm getting my years mixed up. In 2005, I had a deal with Doc Simmons. We worked it out. We worked our schedules so they didn't interfere with each other.
Oh, okay.
And then in 2000, we had won the Nationals in 2005 in Slingshot Modified. And then in 2006, that's what happened. Doc wanted us to come over and go full time into Fastpitch, and Bruce still didn't want to do that. So we had one more run in Modified, and that was the year that Reese and Stacy McLean went and played with Denny and Bob Neidick when they weren't playing with us in 2006.
Gotcha.
So, and that's basically what happened. 2006, there was no national. Nobody else had registered except us and Patsy's to go.
Oh,
so it was. They just canceled it, and that's when we realized that okay, this is over, and we're going to need to go play Fastpitch.
Right. So is the modified game still like relatively?
The slingshot game that we played is dead. That's not. You know what? I shouldn't say it's dead. It's dead on a national level. It's still played. It's played locally. It's real big. Like a lot of those tournaments. Like some of the tournaments you'll see that the guy that Luciano that did the streaming for the ISC, he does a lot of these modified ones where there's strict bowling motion. They're not allowed to. Where you can tell if they're not letting sling go is if the guys keep their shoulders square.
Okay.
And they call them, basically I tell the umpires if the first base, if it's a right-handed pitcher and the first base umpire sees your numbers, he call them illegal. That's not what we played. That's bowling style. That's 10-man modified. He streams down in Florida. There's still some slingshot going on. I know Mickey Mullins is hooked up with a few teams that play and they go different places. So there is some slingshot, but not on a national level anymore.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I think I saw Yusuf and Robbie Schweier go down there and playing a tournament earlier this year.
Yeah, that was the same when Mullins was playing. And you know what? I've talked to the guys in the USA Softball about trying to hook up with these guys because they obviously still have something going. And there are all little pockets of it in Massachusetts and in New York. And if they can, get it going, I liked it because, the list of guys like Frankie DeGroat, Lonnie Rodriguez, Derek Pukash, Chad McConnell, Mo Candu, Mullins, Dave Loman. These guys all came from Modified and ended up playing with the U.S. national team at one point or another. So it was a feeder system for us. And what they play now, just this lob ball, that's never going to be a feeder. Playing slingshot could be a feeder again. So, there should be an interest from us in USA Softball to try to get it going again. And we're trying. But it's not easy. Yeah,
it's kind of funny that you said that it was somewhat of a feeder, like for the USA softball program. That it's almost like you had like either baseball players or modified players coming in. That's
and that's what we were. That was the enticement. When a bunch of those guys saw like Frankie DeGroat, Lonnie Rodriguez, Louis Jogler, it was a lot of the Patsies and the Gremlins guys. And they saw them, make the national team. Then that's what kind of said, okay, I know these guys. They're good, but I'm just as good. And that was the big hump with a lot of these guys. They heard Fastpitch and they saw guys like Jared Martin and Robbie Scheller pitch, and they're like, oh, I don't want to do that. But we tried to explain to them that's not the only level. Not everybody's like that.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, you mentioned Frankie DeGroat there. I pitched against Frank at the AAUs in 2010, I believe it was, and like a lot of guys, he hit one off me that's still going to this day.
Frankie, it'd probably be a toss up between Frankie DeGroat or Travis Wilson, who were the scariest guys I ever saw play slingshot. It was just. Travis was another guy in slingshot. He never made out. You could not get him out. It was crazy.
Wow. So the change over to Fastpitch, what were all the wheels in motion there to, kind of get that going?
Well, Doc had been talking to us. He had lost Bob Quick from the Spirit. So they were the Broken Bow Spirit. And then he went with Patsy's. And, that didn't really work out because, him and Phil both wanted to run things. And, I thought it was a good mix to go in with Doc. I had never really been involved in major Fastpitch before. So we agreed to put something together and, it worked out. You still have personalities that don't, that don't mesh. So it worked out for about a year or so. The team kept going for 2 years. And then that second season, I decided I wanted to do something with Varm. We started an ISC 2 team. Because we let Doc keep the Gremlin sponsor, knowing that the next year, we were just going to do something on our own, but we didn't want to trip up it was pretty much the same team coming back. It was Cheese, it was Jared, it was Reese Casey, it was all guys that I'm good friends with, and we didn't want to screw that up. So Bruce kept sponsoring them, and Varm and I, put together some sponsorship, and we just had a local team. We called the team called the New York Knights, and I think we finished third, and that was all local guys. I think that was pretty much the rules then, except even Billy Hillhouse was technically an area first. So we had, and our one out of area pickup was Craig Pitcock. Okay. So we had Billy and Craig were our 2 pitchers, and we finished. We lost to Hicksy actually in the Lumber Kings and in the semifinals. So we finished third that year.
Wait, what year was that?
2008.
Okay, yeah.
So that would have been the year that they won. Yep.
That was in Iowa.
Timberland.
No, yeah, that's right. That's right too.
Yeah.
That was my first ISC.
We didn't play. They didn't let the ISC 2 play in the main field.
No, that's right.
Yeah,
I was with Salt Lake City. So
yeah, right. Exactly.
We
that was Nudie had a real big tournament that year too with the California team.
He definitely did.
The Rockers.
Yeah, and I think we got beat out by the Lumber Kings there, and they had Marcus Tan and
Marcus was on fire.
Oh man, he was tough to pitch to.
Yeah.
I want to jump over to Team USA here for a second. Sure. What was it like to be part of that organization, joining in 2013 and being able to take over the head coaching role in 2017?
Yeah, well, I was fortunate in, that Denny Bruckert came to coach with us, and we, he and I got on pretty well. And he, once he decided to take the job back again because he had been the coach before. They talked to him about coming back, and he decided to do it. And he asked if I would, do it with him. And of course I was honored to do it with him. And, we definitely improved the program. We, just because we were more involved. I mean, and Pete Turner is a great coach, but he had a full-time job, and he couldn't be at all these tournaments every week. He had to be out recruiting, right, and doing things. But where Denny and I were involved in the men's game all the time, so we had a little bit more time to scout guys and talk to guys and tell them what we expected. And guys like Tyler Dudley, specifically, I remember that first conversation we had with him that like, hey, we're not telling you what team to play on, but if your team's not going to the big tournaments, and if you're not seeing Adam Folkert and Andrew Kirkpatrick and Sean Cleary and Juan Podolicio, these are the guys we're going to be facing. You need to make sure you get to those tournaments. And a guy like, like Dudley did it. I mean, every weekend we would play against him, now I'm with the Gremlins, and every weekend we're playing against Dudley with a different team, whether he's with whoever. He was picking up with somebody in Ontario every week and playing. And a lot of guys did that. And, our hitting came a long way in that time. Pitching's always the issue. We had Mancha. I wish, it's like our hitting and pitching, Tony really was, I would say, one of the top 6 or 7 pitchers in the world right when we got him. But by the time our hitting caught up, right, he wasn't quite the same anymore. Yeah. That year that we had Gerald and Tony, our pitching was pretty good. Our hitting was a little inconsistent at the time. Then our hitting got better, but Gerald was gone and Tony was a little bit older. So, but hopefully in these next few years, I think with Ron and the relationship, Ron Hackett's the new USA coach, and he's really good at staying in touch with guys and getting them on the right teams and stuff like that. Stuff that, Denny and I started, and I think Ron's really continued it and taken it to a different level. So hopefully, there's a couple of good young pitchers, and everybody's raving about the kid Cody Gibbons, and he is. Yeah. He's only 16 years old, and he's pitching at the ISC, and he's having pretty good success. Yeah. And but there's a couple other kids. The kid Kilpatrick had a great year. Now he's got dual citizenship, and he's committed to play with the USA. His dad's from Florida, so he's another one. And there's another kid, Bryce DeColvey. There's Ray Saylor. There's his kid Alex Ibarra. There's a bunch of young kids that are really at least out there on the circuit pitching, which we hadn't had for a while. So hopefully there'll be some good things in our pitching. I think our hitting has gotten to the point where we can compete with anybody. I know our defense is good, and a couple of younger guys are going to have to get in the mix. But I think the pitching in the next 2 cycles is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a big part of the game. What do you think? Like as far as the international stage goes, like obviously it's becoming more of a even playing field, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, we need to be realistic. We're not gonna, and I think, Canada's in the same spot now, and even, maybe New Zealand. It's when you have places like Argentina and Japan where these guys are working for their companies or the government is paying them to play, that's their job. So, it's tough to compete with that. And that's the situation Japan's in right now. They're either those guys are working for their company and playing softball for their company. That's what they do. And in Argentina, the government's paying these guys to play. So that's their job. And, so that's why they've caught up and that's why they're passing. And it's going to be, it's going to be tough to catch up with them, but it's a matter of catching lightning in the bottle and getting the right pitcher and getting the right players, and anything can happen in one game. But it's those teams are going to be there to be reckoned with for a while now. And who's coming next is Mexico.
Yeah,
is that right?
Mexico's running a lot of good tournaments. Yeah. There's a lot of young kids playing over there, and they're going to be good too.
That's good. The Worlds there next year are going to be fun down in New Zealand to watch. I know that.
Yeah. Are we taking the podcast there?
No, we can't. I wish. We'd never get out.
There's a suit guy that might sponsor that.
Oh yeah, just gotta get your cup checked.
So, is there any big moments that stick out for you, Greg, on your time with the national team?
Yeah, it would definitely be the first 2 events would be the Pan Am Championship where we won the bronze, which was the first medal that the program had won in like 10 years, I guess. And then obviously again the Pan Ams with winning the silver medal at the Pan Ams was pretty huge for the program.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that was pretty big for sure.
Yeah. I told the story last time, and actually Hilly and I talked about it. So that one little when we played Canada down at the Pan Am Championships, there was a ball that wasn't called, an infield fly, and the umpires kind of screwed it up. So it basically put our runners in jeopardy. So it was kind of a double play. And I remember Hilly jokingly laughing at me as he's running off the field, and he's just like, "Hey, I don't know what happened, but inning over, And so then I don't know if you guys saw it, but the final play of the game, we were up on Canada with a couple of runs, and Hilly hits a bomb between Lynchy and Youssef in the outfield. And somehow one of them bobbles it, the other one catches it. The umpire says that it hit the fence. And it wasn't a catch. So it kind of put their runners in jeopardy. Now, Hilly had passed the runner at first, so they called him out, and the other guy was off second, so we ran over and tagged him. So it was a total screw up. But I just remember looking at Hilly because they're like, "Nope, out, game over." So I just looked at Hilly and go, "I don't know what happened, but game over, bud."
Karma got you, Hilly.
And I had forgotten about that. And when we lost the podcast, Hilly and I were joking about that at the ISC. A little chuckle about that.
That's awesome. Karma got you, Hilly.
Yeah. Well, he got us pretty good at the ISC. So
yeah,
he got it back.
True enough. Speaking about the ISCs, let's talk about 2018. You captured your first back-to-back ISC World Titles. How special was that first one?
Oh, it was amazing. It was a long time coming. We'd won a bunch of ASAs, and just for whatever reason, we lost in the final twice back in 2011. We lost by a run, and again in the famous 0-0 10 inning game. Mm-hmm. The close play at the plate in 2013 when Hill won their first one was the other time we were in the final. But we would slip up at the ISC for whatever reason, and not even make it to the final some year. We were always consistent enough that we never. I mean, if you look at a lot of the big teams, they always bomb out somewhere, but we never did. We always made it to Saturday, and that was always our thing: get to Saturday, and anything can happen. Even when we lost one year to California early, when Cheese was in the hospital and Dean Holline pulled his groin, we lost early, and we still made it to Saturday. We finished fourth, and we just couldn't get over that hump. And then finally, in 2018, everything fell together, and the guys, after 2017, we did make some changes. We agreed we need to make some personnel changes, and we brought in Greg Hicks and Ron Guzman, and help coach and sponsor. And we decided that if we were going to make some, if they were going to do it, we all agreed that we were just going to start over and put the best team that we thought we could put together under the circumstances. So we did have to make some changes, which was tough.
Yeah.
But, since that time, we pretty much kept that core together and we've had a lot of success. So,
yeah. So like moving forward now, going into next season, any big plans in place, or you just, those are talks over the winter?
Yeah. I mean, there's always one or two changes, and sometimes it could be a guy too. Somebody may want to stay closer to home, or somebody may want to go to a different situation where they think that they're going to be utilized more. But I would be pretty sure that most of our core will be back. There may be one or two additions, but I don't see anything major. We were pretty happy. Like I said, we really lost from the time we had our full team. We lost one game all year.
Yeah,
and it was in the final of the ISC. So we were very happy with the team this year. I think we were strong. I think we were stronger this year, honestly, than we were the 2 years we won. We just ran into Brad Ezekiel.
Yeah, I was going to say Bradley. 5-run Bradley.
Thinking about Brad, they hit the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
Bill hit the hell out of the ball. I mean, they really did. I mean, Bolin and obviously Bruno and Jason Hill had a hell of a tournament.
Yeah.
And there was no lead that seemed to be safe. And it's weird when you get together and you see good pitching that usually shuts people down, but there really seemed to be no lead that would be safe. But I think we hit the ball well enough. I think that the big difference in the game was Brad taking 5 runs off the board. Doesn't that's a big part of it for us. So
yes, absolutely,
big time. Yeah. Was there anybody that you saw down there knew that kind of stuck out to you, like you were like, oh wow,
like a new guy or something? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think the biggest new guy that we have to talk about on the scene, and it was he didn't have the greatest ISC, but he had probably the best season of any player, would be Blaine Milheim.
Okay.
And him not being a prawn, to be honest, I'll give you a little scoop. We did talk to him a little bit, but we want, I don't want to take a guy when we can't promise him a role.
Right.
And he texted me today. We did talk to him a little bit. He texted me today, and I didn't even ask him where, but he said he's going to go somewhere, and I didn't even ask where.
Yeah.
So he's not, I will go on the record right now saying he's not going to be with us.
Right.
But Blaine had played with us, and he was a bench player for us on the first ISC.
Okay.
2018. So he was a USA junior pitcher, but honestly, this kid killed it this year. He hit everybody. I mean, he hit Mata, he was hitting home runs, and I know that let's put it this way, because I know Hallman's after him and I know Hill's after him, so that tells you everything you need to know.
There you go.
So and Kegel wants to keep him.
Right.
Wow. So I don't know. He could end up he's going to probably be one of those 3 teams, I would guess. Wow. With our situation with so many prawns, it's just better for us to try to keep the group together, because I think we're the only one that's not, like, we're at like 9 prawns or something. So it's better for us to just as long as those rules stay, it's better for us to keep our core together.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there many guys missing? I know Adam wasn't there.
Yeah, Adam and Shales would be the 2 big ones. Yeah. I mean, those are the 2 biggest for us. We got our guys in, and I think Hallman had all their guys, and listen, Hill didn't have those 2 guys, but they were able, because of that, they were able to add a Colin Walsh, and they were able to add Devo,
right?
Because otherwise they couldn't, because they're both prawns.
Right.
So, hey, listen, it worked out.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. Can't wait to watch next year. I mean, that's going to be, everybody by then should be good to go. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
You guys had a guy on the podcast before that we're pretty hot after. That'd be the one guy that we really like to get. I don't know if we'll get him. We've had some conversations. We'll see.
Okay. Well,
oh, wow.
I'm going to have to go through our episode list.
Come on. You guys got to be able to figure that out. You asked him at the end, and he mentioned some teams that had talked to him.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, I don't listen to my podcast, Greg. I do the editing and then I stop.
There's one player who hasn't been over here before that we've been talking to for a few years, and I think this is the year he's going to come. Now, hopefully, it'll be us.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I'm sure there's other teams that are interested too, but that might be that might be the one guy that we can hopefully add.
No,
New Zealand, yeah. I got you. Yeah. I got you too.
Yeah.
I know.
So hopefully by the time we put this out, hopefully it'll be done.
Oh, there you go.
Geez, I should throw him in player association.
Yeah.
Speaking of player association, well, let's get on to her. Okay. I'm going to throw out a name to you, and you can say as much or as little about them as you want.
Okay.
Firm.
Firm. I'm going to start with
You said players. You didn't.
Yeah.
Come on, he is not a player. As much as he likes to think he is.
Yeah. Greg Hicks.
Greg's the best. He's, my right-hand guy. And honestly, I couldn't do this anymore if it wasn't for him. He takes care of, there was one time where I used to do everything, and, my life's a lot more complicated now as my son gets older. My son's autistic, and, there's a lot of issues that come with that. And I couldn't do all the stuff I used to do. And if it wasn't for Greg, he takes care of everything. You know what? And he gets so much abuse for one guy, one little mistake. And, he sends a guy. Well, he did try to send Chase. He did book a ticket one year for Chase Turner to go to, instead of San Jose, he sent him to San Jose, some other country, San Juan or somewhere. He sent him on his flight. And poor Chase never checked his ticket until he got to the airport.
Oh my God.
So, but there's, listen, when you're booking all these kind of tickets like this that he's doing, there's going to be mistakes. But these guys break his chops so bad, and he deals with it all. And he does, honestly, I can't tell you, especially this year with all the problems we had getting guys home. He does so much, and I absolutely would not be able to do it with anymore. I would definitely retire if it wasn't for him.
Right on. I'll stick with some coaches. Ron Hackett.
Oh, Ron's a great guy. Real good guy. He's a perfect guy, I think, right now to lead USA. I know some people people ask questions like, well, he hasn't been the head coach of his team. Well, he was with the Drillers, but more importantly, Ron and Amy, I got to give his wife a lot of credit because she does a lot of work. He's just a great people person. He stays on top of these guys. What the USA program needs is, somebody who's going to communicate with the players and say, this is what I expect you. You need to be playing at these tournaments, and guys will call Ron, hey, my team's not going. How do I get there? He gets them on a team. He does, it's almost like a full-time job for him. He does an amazing job. And I think he's really taking the program in the right direction. And, now with a couple of pitchers he's got lined up, I think over the next 2 cycles, hopefully, the USA can get back on that podium.
Right on. Wayne Lalu.
Oh God, what a personality. He's just amazing. I mean, he's just a ball of energy, and, Wayne had played for us before. And so we knew exactly what we were getting. We lost him to the Gators for a few years, and then he was a prawn, so we couldn't take him back. And then as soon as he came off prawn, that was the first call we made to try to get him back because we knew what we were getting. You get a middle of the order hitter, and he's just never stops. He keeps the guys going, and it's some people yell to yell.
Yeah.
And Vern Schott, I'm talking to you. But Wayne, it's just so genuine. Everything he says, and he's upbeat all the time. And the guys just love him. A lot of the guys who hadn't been around him before were just amazed. Greg Hicks being one, he really didn't know Wayne that well. And he just came back saying, we got to have this guy back. He's just amazing. Yeah.
Those type of guys are really infectious for the team. Yeah.
Yeah. He really, really is.
He could probably help you get somebody on your team as well from New Zealand. Next, Cheese, Andrew Kirkpatrick.
He's just the best. I've had good fortune. People ask me, you've had some good fortune. You won some tournaments, won some ASAs, won some ISCs. Well, I've been fortunate that from 2007, I think the only years I haven't had Cheese with me were 2009 and 10 when he didn't come over. So I've only had to face him as an opponent one year. And wow. 10 he didn't come over. That was the whole prawn issue, and he was going to go with Aspen. They didn't have a team, but he's been with me every year since. So any success I've had is pretty much just him. You lock yourself up with the right guys, and it just makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, for
he's
sure.
Not bad.
He's
forget about players. Listen, there's been tons of great players who are, let's be honest, hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Because of how great they are, and there's nobody easier to deal with than Cheese. You would never know he is who he is. He's just doesn't ask for anything, and he's just the easiest going.
That's so great
guy I've had.
Yeah,
we were very pleased to have him on our podcast for sure. Yeah. Great guy.
Yes, he is.
And last but not least, Denny Brockert.
Denny is the best. I find it hard to realize sometimes how he's just a guy. I didn't get to really know him well. Obviously, we coached against him a little bit, but didn't get to know him well until he came with us in 2012. So when you think about the timing, but he's just a guy I felt like I knew him my whole life. He was just amazing. I mean, him and Bruce, Bruce and Cheese, really the three keys to any success I've had in this game with those three guys. Bruce being our sponsor, Cheese, a star player, and Denny. Denny getting me involved with the USA program and just being such a good friend. Is really it was tough losing him, I know. And the thing about Denny is when you hear a lot of these podcasts and just anybody, whether it's Robbie O'Brien or Lolly and Blair Ezekiel and all these guys, how they talk about Denny. I mean, he was such a genuine guy, and he was a guy, that. A couple of guys have said it on the podcast, and it's true. He understood the mix of a team. He was, where somebody like Doc was, guys loved him. But he was pretty hardcore about, I don't want you out doing this and I don't want you doing that. But Denny kind of understood the other side of it a little bit with like, hey boys, first tournament, go out and have a good time, get to know each other. Come on, I'll get you a couple of beers in the beer tent.
Right.
He was that type of guy. And that's why we got to know everybody so well. Cause he did like to have a couple of cold ones with the boys. And that's what, it was about for him, that. And then, when it came to game time, it was about winning, but he was just a great guy. And you probably have 6 or 7 guys in this game that'll tell you they were he was like a second father to them. And, that would include myself. So he was just a great man. Great guy.
Yeah, definitely going to be missed. Well, Greg, got to thank you again for coming on again.
No problem, guys. I appreciate what you do. Promote the game. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening to it.
Yeah. Well, were we recording? Just kidding.
Okay,
not,
listen, I keep telling everybody who does podcasts, I'm going to give you guys an idea.
Sure.
And I think somebody's got to go with it. Okay, you guys a fan of the movie Fastpitch?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what you got to do. You got to get some kind of Zoom call. You get Jeremy Spear. I get in touch with Jeremy. You get Nick McCurry. You got to get Shane Hunu and Paul Walford to represent the gate, to represent the Smokers. And 20 years later, I mean, somebody's got to do this. I've been talking to everybody about this. Everybody loves it, but nobody does it.
Jesus.
Well, goddamn, we'll do it. We'll be on top.
We'll be on top.
Yeah. I mean, it was such, it was funny when we had a little drinking game when we won the ASAs this year. And they went to have Nikki say a few words. And I asked everybody, he said, hold on. I said, I got to ask. I said, show of hands. Now, these are some of the best players in the game, right? I go, who was either your first experience in Fastpitch or your first experience knowing this guy right here was through the movie, and saying every single guy in the room raised their hand. Juan Podolicio will tell you it's one of the reasons why he wanted to come here and play.
Wow.
So that movie had an effect on a lot of guys. And, it's amazing how many people still come up to McCurry to this day. But even McCurry, somebody's got to get McCurry on. This guy's got stories, I'll tell you. He really is.
Yeah, for sure.
I know
Randy will be texting
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. You got to send us that picture anyway, Greg, please. Don't forget to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send you the picture for the World Series as soon as we hang up.
Absolutely.
All right, Greg. Thanks again, buddy.
Okay, guys.
Take care. Have a great winter, Greg.
See you, Greg.
You too, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nick McCurry. All right. That's
Greg's
a fantastic idea. Oh, man.
So one thing I wanted to say during the podcast, Mo Can Do. What a name. Didn't you hear him say? He said it a few times. I was like, oh, Mo Can Do. Mo Can Do this. It was like Bo Can. That's the best name in the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
What can he do? Mo Can Do.
Mo Can Do.
Yeah. Anyway, great podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was, again, so happy he agreed to come back on.
What a beauty. Yeah. That's great.
We talked a long time the last time. And
yeah. He had no problem doing it. It was fantastic. Good guy, as I said. He's seen a lot. He's been around a lot. Yeah. Love to hear that. Wouldn't it be nice just to be able to go to Florida for the weekend, though?
I know.
Shit. Yeah. What'd you do this weekend? I went to Fredericton. Nothing against it, though, because we do love the hilltop.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Darcy.
Hey, Darcy. Anyway, but I got Kaya Parnaby coming on from the Australian Olympic team coming next week.
Good day, mate.
I'm excited to talk to her.
Yes, absolutely. I think we might have a big one coming up too, talking with some of the boys, and we actually may want to interview Randy Frame.
You guys are crazy.
I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun for the podcast and for some people to hear actually your bullshit story about 2009 10 times. And no, I think it'll be a lot of fun because I learned a lot about you that I didn't know, which I thought I knew you way better. For instance, you poached scrambled eggs at Smitty's. You were a cook.
I had a lot of weird jobs, man.
You had a lot of weird friggin' explanations of what you did over the weekend. It was amazing. And I got some great quick pitches too. It's going to be fun. Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure that
We'll
out.
talk about that. We'll talk. I'm going to focus on Nicky Mullins now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I got to focus on Randy Frame.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Everybody, we're back. Things are going to go weekly again, and we're going to keep pumping out the guests, and hope you all follow along and listen to us as always.
Keep liking and sharing.
Keep liking and sharing and liking and tweeting. And all right, Hopey.
All right. Take care, brother.
Have a good week.
See you, buddy.
Later.
Back in the facts, I'm taking time off from the acting. I gotta relax, I need a new beat. Yo, for sure, I got a few treats. You been up in the city long? Only 2 weeks. Cool, well, I'm sorry about the weather. It's been raining all week, I hope it gets a little better. Either way, class, listen, I got an ill vision by the song I'm working on. You think you got the right rhythm? Man, come on, you know I got some shit that'll break your neck. I used up what I want, but you can take what's left. Don't give me bullshit, dog. You know I blaze the set. You know you got something safe for West. I got an ill concept, hip-hop. How I pay the real long distance. What? 1987, I've been rapping in the ciphers and the sessions, and I'm still be getting stressed on the fly. You know it's hard to be hip-hop, and ain't nobody staying real. Don't pay bills when you showcase skill. Ain't nobody living off of doing windmills or painting train rails, that's real. It's hard to be hip-hop. You know it's hard to be hip-hop. It's hard to be hip-hop. You know it's hard to be hip-hop. I got no gas and real, so my raps ain't real. Cause I don't pack steel, do my tracks appeal. And to the mass appeal, watch how fast they fail. Yeah, I'm hip-hop son until my casket sealed. It's hard in the culture when the fans are fickle. To understand my issue, your own man will dish you. 1 minute you're whack and then your jam's official. And then they switch again. 4 bottles of cancer hit you. First they loved LL, and then they hated him. And then they loved him again, and they degraded him. So lately, basically, I don't know if I could play to win. Survival of the fittest, let me see what type of shape I'm in. Yo, Stro, when I was younger, like 19, I could spend all day writing rhyme schemes. Spitting freestyle and cypher in the streets. But now I got responsibilities. Yo, it's hard to be hip-hop.
Are you downsizing? Maybe need more room because of additions to the family, or possibly seeking that dream home you've always wanted? Well, Tim Eisner at Royal LePage Atlantic is the guy for you. With a proven track record and multiple awards, Tim goes above and beyond to find out your needs and exactly what you're looking for. So if you're seeking a new home or trying to sell your current one, contact Tim at 902-499-5717 or check him out on Facebook at Tim Eisner. Again, that's 902-499-5717. Trust me, when all is said and done, we'll be saying Tim Eisner strikes again.